Good evening, everybody. I hope everybody's having a good night so far and a good day. So we've been talking here for the last little bit about about the different processes to building relationships and stuff. And now that we're starting to get that down, I wanted to talk about the pillars of lead generation. All of you guys came here for systems and tools, right? And so far, I'm hoping that you guys are receiving all the systems and tools that you were looking for. But obviously, there's a lead component to it, and you guys are receiving leads, depending on what it is, it's coming in. Now, those leads that we provide are based on algorithms and targeted ads that we are providing. However, I don't recommend that you leave that as your only tool to bring in leads, because as some of you guys have seen, a certain area can be, really strong as far as people coming in at a particular time, and then all of a sudden it'll dry up. One of the best examples that I was just talking about earlier was the fact that condos, right, in Florida, condo living is really a way that a lot of people like to live here. But then we had some issues down south with problems with some buildings. We have insurance, right? All that stuff. And all of a sudden, the people that were originally searching for condos are no longer comfortable living in condos, right? So we adjust those things to target our leads, right? But when you guys are actually out there in order to build your business, because at the end of the day, you are the CEO of your business, right? You have to figure out what is your different pillars. So I have this, and I'm going to share this out with everybody. This is the 4 pillars of lead gen. Now, I want you guys to think about this, okay? Because you're going to hear things in this industry. Some of you are newer, and you're going to hear a lot of noise. Call FSBOs, call expireds, call this, do that, do that. None of it is going to work if you don't like doing it, right? The FSBOs and expireds, I've talked with some of you guys. Some of you guys enjoy the challenge of getting a FSBO or an expired on the phone and turning them into a buyer, right? Or a seller, rather. And that's great. And I have some really close friends that have made tremendous, careers just off of that type of niche marketing. However, that might not be right for you. So in addition to the lead gen that we provide here on the team and internet marketing, who has another avenue that they would like to share that they use for creating leads, or they think that they could tap into? Lauren, you're up at the top of my screen. What do you got for us?
I would like to get better and do more social media, because that is definitely a tool to use.
All right, social media. I mean, we get stuff off of social media. It's where people are turning to now to get to know you. So really, in this industry, as well as many other industries, we have to have social media as part of it, right? Even if you're not using it as an active lead targeting tool, you have to have it there just so people can see that you really exist, right? So
yeah.
Does anybody disagree that social media is a good one? No, it's a great one. It's free, right? We provide most of the posts and the things for you if you choose to use it. Some of you are a little more creative. I am not, right? I know I'm not. That's why we have Patricia on the team. Okay, but social media is a great one. Free, easy, and it's out there for the world. No matter what time of day or night that they're out there looking, they can look you up and see what you're doing. Daniel, what about you? What's another thing that you can possibly implement as a pillar of lead gen?
Open houses.
Open houses. Love open houses, right? Why is doing an open house such a strong pillar to implement into your business?
I mean, you have fresh people looking to buy a house. They might not buy the house that you're showing, but they might get something else. So, and you already talked to them in person, and at least you got the feeling.
That's
what
the
they're
key.
looking for.
98% of people out there that walk into an open house are not going to buy that open house. But that is a chance for you to have an in-person communication, right? Right there, face to face, you get to shake their hand, show them around the house, whatever it is, and build an actual relationship. And that's why it drives me nuts when I walk into an open house and I see somebody looking at something, reading something, and they'll look up and they're like, "Hey, tell me what you think," and then they go right back to reading. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. Ask a question. This is your opportunity. You're going to be there. If you're going to be there for 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, whatever it is, use that opportunity to build a relationship. I know Heather has turned a bunch of buyers out of open houses, right? She's had people run in right at the end of the open house, before the open house. It's a great way to put your face out in front of the world and make those connections, and they're coming to you. And once again, how much does it cost to run an open house?
Doesn't have to cost you anything.
Doesn't have to cost you anything. Maybe you put out, if you want to be nice, you can put out, a couple of things of crackers or cookies, maybe a couple of waters if you want, or you can have a lender do it with you, which having a lender there is nice. So if there's a period where there is nobody, you have somebody to converse with. And also, too, on a side note, if you're a newer agent and you're there with a lender, now you have somebody that may have some additional experience. So when somebody asks a financing question that maybe you're not aware of, they can help back you up to, again, make you look like a seasoned professional. Make sense? So, Ellie, I see you hiding there. Turned off your camera. What about you? You have anything for us?
I guess I will piggyback from Danny's idea of the open house. We were talking about it while we were doing the open house that 2 Sundays ago. To do like a small raffle, because a lot of people, like we notice people are a little skeptical these days to put their information down, or they just don't want to. But we were thinking of maybe doing a small raffle of I don't know, Starbucks gift card or an Amazon or whatever, Chick-fil-A, anything that's popular and that at least it grabs people's attention. So they will put their name and phone number down, at least that. So I don't know, it's just to piggyback from the open house. We think the open house is great. For that, for what you were saying, Chris, also like, creating that one-on-one connection with the person, so they get to know you right away. So I think it's also works great for extrovert, but maybe for the introvert person, then I will go with Lauren. Social media works great for people that are not as social, perhaps, even though it sounds like.
But you're in sales now, so even introverted people can hold a conversation. So you need to be conversing with people at open houses. You're gonna have to talk to them at some point. So if that is that much of a social dilemma, you may have to consider other options. Have to be I'm not saying what's up.
No, definitely. And then just one more thing. Then also like school events. We meet a lot of parents, and sometimes it just brings up a lot of crowd, like sports events. We go to karate. We go to other schools events. So I'm like, okay, this is great just to start a conversation with people and put yourself out there.
Yeah.
At least.
So community events, right? So
Yes.
that's one. I would caution you on the gift cards. I mean, if you're going to do a big open house or something like that, then great. But all of a sudden, with gift cards and stuff, you're going to start to run up your costs. And I don't personally feel that it's necessary in all instances. Maybe if it's a high-end property or something, you want to do it, that by all means. But for regular ones, to do the marketing, get these signs out there, you probably don't need it. But the community events, the PTA, the sporting groups, or sport, for the kids and stuff, great way to meet people and network, right? I know some people will sponsor local teams, right? That's if you want to do it that way. I know another female agent that I know. She's a team mom for, I think her kid plays soccer, if I remember correctly. So she's out at every game, and she started bringing a cooler with waters, and she hands out waters to the parents of the kids, right? Because the kids they all get their drinks and stuff, but she's handing them out to the parents, right? How much does it cost for a case of like 40 waters? It's not much.
$4.
Yeah, it's not much. You can get them, you can give them out, and if you don't use them, you leave them in the cooler, put some fresh ice on them, and you give them away next weekend. Right? So now we have social media, open houses, community events. Right? Martha, what about you?
Well, I belong to a bunch of groups, and I always hand out my cards to the groups that I'm with, like my bowling group and like the Interact group, my Civitan group. They all know that I'm a realtor now.
Okay. So social groups.
And I'm a member of a neighborhood watch group. I'm a street rep. So all my neighbors know that too. And that one helps out a lot.
Now you're doing the neighborhood watch. Have you ever seen the movie Neighborhood Watch with Ben Stiller?
No.
All right, you gotta watch it, and then we'll revisit this conversation. Has anybody seen that movie?
Yes, I'm laughing. You know it's funny. I gotta watch it.
She knows exactly. She's got the visual now. So awesome. But social groups, right? You're already with people of like minds. Okay. So social groups, how much do you have to pay to be part of those?
Just what you need to do. But also, even with the open houses, when you share, when you can go and pull up their information and say, okay, the house just decreased $10,000. You want to come revisit it? We're having another open house next week. I mean, that's what sold the last house I had listed, was I had reached out to everybody that had come in and left me their information.
100%, because you collected the information at the first one. Yeah, so I mean that's great. And circling back around to Ellie had a comment about people are reluctant to give their information, and I think I already had the conversation with Daniel that you guys were asking them to sign in when they walked in, right?
Yes. I mean, it was just laying on the counter. We have water, grapes. We had a nice setup in a way, and we asked him, can you leave us your information so we can contact you with anything else or any questions you may have. So, yeah, we're gonna do it, but they just walk right around it.
but here's the thing with that, right? And with the open houses can be a whole separate conversation all by itself. But if you have somebody walk into a house, and the first thing you do is ask them to sign in, you have not built the rapport. So they're going to be reluctant to give you any information because they don't know anything. They just walked in and you're hitting them with sign in.
Mm-hmm.
So the way I do it is I show them the house. Hey, welcome to my awesome listing. You just walked into a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, concrete block construction home built only 3 years ago. And the homeowners have, loved this house for the past 3 years. They're moving because it's time for them to move back up north or whatever it is. Paint the picture of what their life looked like and what these people's life could look like in the same house. Show them around. Here's the guest bedrooms. Here's the master bedroom. Here's the kitchen. Picture your family having a nice, Sunday lunch, whatever it is. And then the way I do it is right before they leave, I'll be like, hey, listen, by the way, just so I can tell my boss that I did my job or tell my client that I did my job, would you mind signing in just so I can, say I did my job? Never had anybody almost never had anybody push back. And I tend to get real numbers doing that. Eventually, you're going to get somebody that does a fake number. Okay. But every one of these things, social media, open houses, community events, social groups, these are all ways to have connections with people, right? Jennifer, what about you? Anything that you can do to build your network or get out there?
I've definitely been doing a lot of the sports team stuff for mine, but just their sphere of influence. and letting everybody that you know, even if you've only met them a few times and you have their number in your phone, that you're a realtor.
SOI. Folks, that's got to be on everybody's list, right? Everybody's, because you know what happens? Every one of these other groups, right? The social media, the open houses, the community events, social groups, sports teams, right? After you have a conversation with them, they start to move into that SOI category, right? Whether it was you met them at a sporting event, you met them at a community event, right? I've met people over the years at the most random of places. But your SOI, the only thing with the SOI is we need to change the narrative. And you've heard me say this. We need to change the narrative over, how they know you. Right? What did you do before you got into real estate? Right? What were you? You were something, right? The high school kid, college, kid. Maybe you delivered pizzas. Maybe you were like me. You were a cop before. I had to change my narrative of how people saw me. Now, people, when they think of me, they think of Chris the realtor. They don't think about Chris, the cop or the Marine. Does that make sense? Heather, what about you? You got any other thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, definitely it was Jennifer. I just was thinking the same thing. Everywhere I go, I can't help myself but chat with people. I'm not really good with people, catching eye contact and not at least saying hi. So I'll start a conversation anywhere, and trust me, it really, really helps. And then, of course, like you said, where did you work before? Who do you do you have kids? Do you have sporting events? Like, I'm starting to tap into that a little bit here because I'm newer into Florida. It's only been coming up here on 3 years. So I'm still building that. My kids aren't little like they used to be. So, but honestly, what I'm now tapping into is my previous clients. Now, whether a lot of folks on here are, been in the business for a while or short term, and maybe haven't sold as much, I'm still getting referrals from up north. So I just had someone reach out to me on Facebook. And remember, just like I told you, Chris, I bought 2 homes when I moved down here. If I had known and realized that you had moved down here prior, you would have been my first call. So,
yeah.
It's kind of touch and base. Every time someone says something, I'm like, yeah, social media, you got to get yourself out there and not everybody sees every post. They may not be on there for a couple weeks. So you just got to keep consistently.
And whose fault was that?
What's that?
That you didn't know that I was here.
Yours.
100%, folks. I know that was my fault.
I hate to say that, but yeah.
No,
if I'd seen you out
look.
there, I would have been like, yeah.
No, I'm not saying I'm bringing it up for a reason. All right. I know what to do. And, I dropped the ball. I didn't let, I didn't let a lot of people know, but obviously that is a prime example of the fact that I did not let Heather know, because I've known Heather for a while. Right?
Yeah.
I didn't let her know that I was here. Right? And however that got slipped through the cracks, at the end of the day, the buck stops with me.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it is what it is. Elisa, how about you? You have anything?
Yes, my favorite, thing is make a comments to the people post about different things, even sometimes not really related to the topic, but people start conversation and about the viral post about whatever, and then they going to, whatever topic, still it will be high interest, buying and selling a house or whatever it is. So I use this strategy back in my when I developed my previous business, and make a comments in professional groups or groups they're discussing some sort of thing. And in a couple of months, people start recognizing you. Okay, that's Lisa. We do know Lisa is a realtor, for example, in Florida, and she does know the market. She always make a comments that's prevalent, So and she has some expertise, and next time all of a sudden you start receiving, for example, from Facebook or Instagram, you start receiving the messages from the people starting asking for consultation or your opinion, or they mention to you in a comment, and you become somebody, and that's free, that's required time, but actually that doesn't need anything else except your time. And still, if you're posting something there in that group, so that's not like that's interesting, might be interesting to the people, some, data or some statistic or some funny stuff, then again, people get to know you and you increase your sphere and influence. And of course, that's a lot of some water and free thing. I always use the chocolates. Chocolates works great. People like sweet chocolates, marshmallow, all the stuff. People who does love the chocolate are much more than the people who doesn't. So usually I bring the sweets. And even last week I made their school stuff that thank me because in the Christmas I brought her homemade treats. Will she remember me? Does she know who I am? She didn't, but now she does, because that was, we were the only one family who actually bring them not just for teachers, but for all staff at school. And just last weekend, we went with my mom, St. Augustine. Look at this, we're in Florida. How good marketing is this in the hot days in events? Actually, from museum, I'm pretty much sure that cost like a pennies. But then, all of a sudden, this stuff will stay in your car. This stuff will stay all over, and maybe it will be some information about this house, about something. So that's not a flyer. That's fun stuff. And here might be our QR code about what's going on. So just be creative, and I think that using the Facebook comments, be proactive in the Facebook, might be a good catch for those who have not so wide sphere and influence.
Yeah. So these are all great tactics that you can use with all of these groups. In addition to that, right, we talked about it briefly. There are still some other ones, right? FSBOs, expireds are all good pillars that you can incorporate into your your lead gen if you like. The thing that is good about FSBOs, now we already talked about it as far as the calling, it's all public knowledge, right? They put their name out there that they are looking to sell. So that is the plus side of that. Divorces and lawyers, right? Lawyers, if you can get in with a lawyer, great source for leads, right? Good source to nurture. Estate planners, right? We have a lot of people here in Florida, right? Building their estates, they're moving in, moving out, right? And some people don't come to the realtor first; they go to their estate planner, right? And then along with the lines of the social groups, if you're into a church, or either a church or a like a nonprofit, kind of falls close to those social groups. But sometimes social groups are seen as like fun stuff, as where if you're involved in a cause, right? That's something that you can leverage. I'm sorry, what? I can't read.
It's all over Lauren's face, for crying out loud.
It came up weird on my screen.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I just couldn't type fast enough.
You're good. But church and outreach groups, right? It's a great way to get out there. Now, be careful if you're going to do like an outreach group or something like that. Do it for the right reasons. Do it because you believe in the cause. Right? If you're not going to believe in the cause, it's gonna ring out really loud. As far as that you're not there for the real reasons. And at that point, it backfires on you. But the reason why we want to do this is, I wanted to first identify these things with you guys and make sure that you guys are thinking about these different avenues. Most of these things will cost you almost nothing or nothing to build your database, right? Heather said she hasn't been here for that long, a few years. But in those years, she's already started to, built a nice business for herself. Okay. Some of you guys are newer to the business, but all of these things, open house signs, right? I think we probably have 100 open house signs sitting in the back of the office right now. All right, if you don't have all open house signs, get out there and do open houses, right? You know,
Absolutely, it does
and
work.
be overt about it, right? Be in people's faces, right? How many people put open house signs up for when they do an open house? Okay, Jennifer, how many do you put out?
We have 10.
You have 10. You're going to want to get some more, right? I mean, 10's better than none. Okay, but when I do an open house, I load them up as many as I possibly can. I want to see at least 15 to 20 signs out there, right? And we did one down the road over here. We were right on the main road. I mean, literally double lane highway, one turn into the community, and then the house was at the end of the road. Well, I lined up that road with, I don't know, probably 10, 15 signs right on the main road, so that no matter how fast they were going, they were seeing our signs. Okay. So, do this stuff, but then you have to talk with the people, right? Utilize this time, right? And I'm not saying that when you do your bowling league or your soccer game with the kids or whatever it is, I'm not saying that you have to get out there and every time you talk to somebody, want to buy a house, because people will tune you out. Right? Bring the value, have a conversation. I guarantee you, everyone here lives in a house of some sort, as does every other person that you're going to come in contact with. They all live someplace. Make sense? So, of these, who is directly targeting currently 4 different sectors on these pillars? Anybody? Jennifer, you are?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
I would
but not focused. I'm trying to be focused on each one.
Okay. So you say you're not focused on it, right? So what's keeping you from being focused?
I think just learning how to do each one. We were trying FISBOs and expired, and then for the community events, we're part of like sports teams, and then we've been at the VA hospital trying to do every single event that they have and just have a presence and get to know people and network. And we're just there all the time anyway. And then my sphere of influence. I think I just need better systems for each one. It's kind of very jumpy right now.
Okay. All right. Does anybody else suffer from something similar? Feeling like you're jumping around in multiple different locations? Right.
Absolutely, squirrel. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, folks, we're realtors, right? There are so many shiny objects. My email, I set up filters to block out some of the noise on my email because I get so much buy this, do this, buy this, do this, buy. I mean, all day long. If I didn't turn off my notifications, it would just go nonstop. I glance through them, I delete them, 50 at a time, and I get back on with my day, right? It's not the easiest thing, and that's why what you have to understand is you're never going to get to the point in this business, or any business for that matter, where you're going to say, my business is 100% on point, never have a problem, until the day you actually retire, right? Because that's part of business, right? We have struggles, we overcome them, right? If this was easy, everybody would do it, right? People get their licenses, and we have people getting out of the business as fast as they're getting in the business. Right? Every one of you has an advantage here because most of the realtors out there don't have more than 5 years of experience. I think it's like 95% of the realtors don't have more than 5 years of experience. So when you're going out there, you can put aside the fact of, oh, I'm a new realtor. So is everybody else. Right? So that shouldn't be a concern of yours anymore. Does that make sense? Right? If I'm playing in an area and, you know, the only guy that has more experience than me is, you know, over here, and he's only got a couple more months, that's not that big of a deal. So what you can make up for it is an expertise and being personable and bringing out the value to what they're doing. All right. So, you know, I know, you know, we talked about the FSBOs, and Jennifer, you guys said you tried them, right? You know, did you go at it with a plan, or did you just start calling FSBOs and hope that they were gonna answer?
I redid my plan today.
Okay. How so?
I talked to one of the managers in the office and we came up with a plan of what I'm going to say. We worked on my script. I still have to practice it. And then the follow-up plan as well, which I didn't really have. I had called and then nobody answered, and so never really followed up. But now I have a better follow-up plan.
Yeah. Follow-up is huge, right? That's why we have the plans in our database, right? If I forget, right, because we have like 17,000 people in that database, right? There's no way I'm going to remember everybody. Every morning I get surprised. I'm like, oh crap, I got to call that person. But I have an alert to tell me to call that person, right? There's nothing like talking to somebody, finding that I've known for a long time, and finding out they just bought a house or two houses in an area, right? It's no fun. But we work on it and we continue to build, continue to build, continue to build. Make sense? Now, I know we talked about some of these things. Other than the one that you guys called out, is there anything that you have heard that maybe you're thinking that you can add to your portfolio? Anyone? Okay. So when you're looking at these pillars, each one of these pillars should be able to sustain your business. Like you could make your whole salary if you just concentrated on that one pillar. All right. You can make a very good salary just doing internet leads. Right. You can make a very good salary just doing FSBOs. You can make a very good salary just doing your SOI. Right. You can make a very good salary doing a lot of these things if you're deliberate with it. Okay. But when you put in, and the reason why we have 4 here is it's going to make you more pliable and adaptable to the market as it grows. Right. And it ultimately enhances your database. Okay. I know everybody here on the team is using a database. Jennifer, I'm assuming you have a database set up.
Yeah, Keller Williams offers one.
Okay. So, you know, you need to have a database set up, and you need to have your follow-up campaigns. Right. What do those follow-up campaigns, look like? That's going to depend on what you do. We already have them, built out for you guys, here on the team. But, wherever you go, right, you need to have the follow-up. How are you following up with them? When I first started, I had a board, and each person went on a Post-it note. And when they came in as a lead, went on a Post-it note, went on the board. And as they moved through that, they moved up on my board from new lead to active to under contract to closed. Right. I didn't have the greatest of, they didn't really, at that time, I didn't put them in the database until they were done. It was the wrong way of doing it. Okay. It got me going though. All right. So, but we have to collect that information. Now I put everybody into the database, no matter what the reason is. Right? Heather was with me. We were at an event, I think it was end of last year, and it was a Realtors event for one of the insurance companies we went to. And we were sitting with a couple that we were sitting with them, and I asked them, I made a joke. I said, well, you probably have a realtor, but just in case, and I forget how I put it, something, if you were looking to buy or sell, do you have somebody, typical mayor's campaign. And he goes, well, it's funny. Nobody's ever actually asked me that. And they were people that were staging houses or cleaning houses for realtors. And no realtor had ever asked them if they wanted to work with them. I mean, how ridiculous is that? Right? But every realtor figured that somebody else did it. So don't sell yourself short on that. All right. So all of these things can really, you can build your business really inexpensively without putting a lot of money out there. Especially if you're newer, money is not the easiest thing to come upon, and I don't want to just keep giving it away. Make sense? So build those relationships, get out there. If you're looking for social groups, there's a lot of different things. Go on, Facebook, they have all the different groups on there. Just type in something that you're interested in. Lauren, what's something that you're interested in that you could possibly get involved in?
I liked thrifting, so I'm sure there's like a thrifting group on there.
Thrifting, like going to thrift stores and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure that's a big group probably down south.
I mean, that's everywhere. So, I mean, there's always people looking for deals. So, I mean, that would be something that you could definitely get involved in. And I tell you what, I've actually sold houses off of Marketplace, right? People start selling couches, selling all this stuff, right? Why are they selling a couch? Maybe they're getting a new couch. A lot of times they're selling because they're clearing out clutter to get ready to move.
Yeah.
Right? So great way to do it. Daniel, what about you? What's something that you like to do that could, you possibly direct you into a group?
That's a good question. What else?
Well,
I mean, in you just said something regarding asking all the people that even that work with like for example me, that I'm on the construction side. It's a lot of people that work for me, and usually I'm trying, and I see the answer. Oh, okay, thank you. I never had, they work for somebody else. They might need a rent, or they might buy something in the future, in the near future. So it's a lot of painting people, carpenter, plumbers that I'm dealing with, and I'm handing out, because they only know me as the owner of the house that I'm building, but as a realtor. So definitely I'm having those conversations with them now that before I didn't. So
100%. 100%. You also, you're doing all that stuff with the builder. What about, there's a lot of different builders groups out there too. Yep. People that are getting out, what's going on with the town and the county, building codes, things that they're changing, right? Here we have the coffee with the mayor once a month, right? All the business owners and people are out there. Great way to meet people. All right. Ellie, what about you? You have anything that you can think of that you can get out there or that you like to do?
Oh, I couldn't open the mic. Definitely a lot that I would like to do. Sometimes, unfortunately, I lack time. But again, I'm always thinking, when you want to do something, you make the time for it. But going back to the question, Chris.
I'm not talking about your lack of time. What is something that you like to do that could put you possibly in front of people?
I work for an estate planning. So I've been slowly reaching out to clients that come in direct contact with me and what I do, the part of the firm that I handle,
No.
and letting them
Hold on.
that I would like to do. Yeah,
What do you like to do?
it's hard to tell right now because I like to play tennis. I like to work out.
Okay.
Nice. I like to go out for coffee with my fellow colleagues from law school. So I like the beach. I mean, I think we know that from last time. So I'm part of several groups here in Naples in Facebook, and they do hold a lot of events. But again, pointing out to the beginning of my conversation, the lack of time sometimes, I feel limited on that. But
yeah, and look,
definitely,
I suffer from the same thing, right? I work all the time, and I love my motorcycle. Riding around on the motorcycle. Hanging out. It puts me into a group of people that are all in similar things. But a lot of times I push that off because of obligations. So I understand what you're saying there, Ellie. I'm not trying to cut you off, but I want to highlight the fact that we're looking for things that you guys like to do.
Yes.
Because if you can work it into your routine where this becomes part of your business plan, you are going to find this much more pleasurable if you're working with people that are of like minds. Does that make sense?
You're definitely right. No, that you're definitely right. And that's why it's so hard to give you a straight up answer. Like, you need to get kind of like prioritize what are your priorities and where you want to move. And, get in contact, like you saying is, I couldn't put it any other way. Get in contact with the people that have the same interests and the same likes and go in there.
100%. I like it. Martha, what about you?
I was thinking, I walk my dog twice a day, and there's a ton of people in my neighborhood that walk dogs. So it's always, you catch up with them, you have your conversations, you see what's going on, and they know who you are. I feel like they would come up and ask if they had any other questions about real estate.
Well, it's a way to put yourself out there and be seen as a genuine person, right? That's why social media has become so powerful, right? That's because people want to see what you're really about. Unfortunately, it's kind of morphed into some alternate reality, but people want to see that you're a real person. So, being out there walking your dogs, it's a great way to put yourself in front of people. Heather?
Yes, I'm here.
What is something you like to do?
Shop. But I have to make money to shop, right? So I have to work. No, and I like to vacation and do all that stuff too. And my biggest thing is my family. That's why I'm down here in the first place. So and just being able to spend more time with them is great, but I also have to work. So what do I do? I'll tell you, I don't always do this, but I'm getting better at even, like I say, I talk to people just walking in stores, but you don't realize all the people around you, your dentist, your doctor, the lady, not just the doctor and the dentist, but all the folks that work in the office. My dogs go to a vet. There's, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry, I don't mean to just say ladies, but all those people. And I'm getting better at that because sometimes you think, oh, you don't want to bother them. Well, shit, they're selling you something. So it's not that we're selling ourselves, but we're offering, them.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Right now, though, I want to concentrate on what do you like to do, though? Like, what is something that you like to do that could put you in front of people? I know you said shopping. So
shopping. I mean, I definitely shopping.
Could that be incorporated? Are there groups out there that you could associate with?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Anywhere between, Facebook groups to, different towns and shopping, and just like was it Miss Lauren said something about the thrift shopping. Absolutely. I'm on those sites because I buy and sell stuff all the time through, second site used stuff. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. What do you like? Folks, I've built a house. I've actually built a couple of houses now for people where they needed one of the bedrooms converted into shoe closets. right? I mean, not my thing, but if that's your thing, apparently that's like got a whole little cult following. And just so you know, these weren't women. These were men with these stupid closets. Okay? Because they're into the Nike sneakers and all that stuff. I don't understand it. Well, one guy explained to me that it was his investment strategy. I was like, okay, I don't get it. So that would not be a place for me to try and target, right? Jennifer, what about you? You have anything you like to do?
I have lots that I like to do.
Okay.
But I definitely like being on the sports fields with the kids. And then we're actually starting dog training at River Dog, Big Dog River Ranch. So I'm excited about that because that's a whole community. So
what kind of dog training?
For a service dog.
Oh, service dogs. Okay.
Yeah, our Rottweiler is going to become a service dog.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah, so we're going to be part of that group. And then personally, I like shopping too, and I would like a closet with a chandelier in it for my shoes.
Yeah, and somewhere to sit so you can put your shoes on.
Exactly. Yep. Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, yeah, I can't connect with you there, but the dogs, I know I like dogs, and we all like dogs, right? So, but I mean, I'm making a joke out of it, but if that's something that you guys like, that is something that you guys can connect with people. So, look for these things when you're trying to connect and use that as you're growing. Make sense? Elisa, what about you?
I like to travel. I like to baking. I like to make a social change, and I'm doing this a lot. And I like hang out beach, and like have a long walk on the beach. And I like my dogs and family. So that's a lot of things that might be done, but yeah, I like to make to put a front there public. That's definitely the social changes. That's my thing. I'm doing this since I'm a teenager, so that's the thing that I could do. And actually I'm doing this right now, so I'm using this in every day in my life.
Okay, I like it. I mean, travel. Travel, dogs, shopping, right? We may shop for different things. I may not shop for shoes, but I like to shop for motorcycle parts, right? So, I mean, there's a ton of stuff that everybody can connect on, and utilize these things when you're trying to build rapport, right? All of these things here, social media, the open houses, community events, right? Find the organizations that matter to you, right? It's got to be about you, right? Where is your happy place, right? Because you're gonna gel with these people. You're gonna get along. I'm not saying you're gonna agree with everything that they have to say, but that's okay. We can have difference of opinions, but you have to get out there. And if it's a place where you enjoy being, you're going to be so much better off for it. Does that make sense to everybody? Right. I enjoy what I do. And that's, part of the problem is because I enjoy what I do, I spend way too much time at work. Right. And I know this, and I'm trying to get myself out of it. I need to have more of a balance. I got all that. Right. But, my point is that not one of us here is going to be perfect. And not one of us is going to be perfect, because it's going to be a constant battle. A lot of you guys started to drift towards, your other obligations, and we all have them, right? Doing housework, doing this stuff. It's part of life, right? But we have to pull ourselves into it. And if we find a niche where we enjoy being, it's going to make our lives so much easier, and it's going to be more natural when you get there. It's not going to be forced. Sound good? Any questions, thoughts, comments?
Let's see the houses.
Yeah, let's sell some houses, right? I mean, it's what it all leads to. But when you lead with being genuine, it makes things so much easier, right? So anyway, the bottom line is I will send out this this sheet for you guys. Or it doesn't take much. I mean, put this stuff down. This is part of your plan. Come up with those 4 pillars, and then how are we going to attack them? Sound good? All right, we got a few minutes left. Does anybody have any general questions they want to throw out there? Ellie?
Hi, thank you for waiting. Chris, when we were talking about the database, is that something like an app that we use from the group or from KV Core, or is that something that you create on your own for anybody?
KV Core is your database.
Okay,
right?
so you have a phone
Yeah.
number
So
in there? Okay, good.
if you haven't had your call with Zia yet, she'll be going over that with you. And you should have already done your fast start class, right? Did you do that yet?
No, because I had the meeting with her today and connection was all over the place, so we rescheduled. So I guess I'll take another look tonight and just stay
Yeah,
on top of it.
on your dashboard, at the top right-hand corner, you'll see the fast start class. I think it's fast start, but it's go to your dashboard. You'll see it on the right-hand side, and you got that handsome guy to your right that can point in the right direction, because I know he just did it.
Okay, awesome.
Click
I
on
looked at
that.
him, and he was like ignoring.
What's that?
No, I will ask him again. Thank you so much.
But
Chris.
yeah, take a look at that. Start there, and then from there, we're going to be doing here shortly. We're going to be doing a data mining class for everybody to go through all of your different places that you're currently you have people, and maybe you haven't looked at them yet, right? We have our cell phones, our email accounts, right? Social media accounts. There's a lot of people that you're connected with, and if we're not putting them into the database, we're missing a lot of marks. And it's not just you, Ellie. Everybody needs to do it. I just went through it. Elisa went through it with me, and we were cleaning up, going through some dead leads in there, some different things. But we want to make sure we're getting all of the stuff that we've already done all the work for. So. But yeah, just make sure you get that rescheduled as soon as possible so we can get you rolling.
Great. Thank you, Chris. Thank you.
Absolutely. Anybody else have anything?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I don't know how, I didn't even ask you about this, but I'm getting a little frustrated with the traffic, the foot traffic coming into one of our listings. Well, you know how it's been like that with all the listings right now. But I reached out to Lauren, said, Lauren, you want to do an open house on Saturday? Let's try to make it big. So I literally just called and emailed 9 agents that have active listings in that neighborhood, asking if they wanted to partner up and do an open house at the same time, because everybody's having the same problem out there, because I've showed a couple of their houses. So everybody get on board. It's a gated community, so it's tough. It's it's a guard gated community, so it's not, you can't just do a code, you can't do a lot of signs. But and I spoke to a couple of the agents, just trying to get together with other agents. I don't care where they're from, I don't care what brokerage they're with, but why not try to get some more foot traffic? People are going to see more than one open house and want to hit them up, just like what do you call them, yard sales. You see a bunch, you're like, all right, let's hit them all at once. So I did do that, and I've had thank yous. I've gotten a couple messages, Heather, I'm going to find someone. One's out of town, one can't do it this weekend, but they can have someone else do it. They think it's a great idea. So, and then just having that and meeting more agents too, because that's good. But I didn't know what else to do. I'm like, we got to do something, Lauren. Let's bring out the alcohol or something.
Well, I mean, that would be one of the places where I would do a gift card, right? But I'm not going to do one. I would have everybody split it. So let's just say we had 4 houses to show off. I would have a sign-in sheet that they would have to take from place to place, and each of the agents at each house has to sign off on it.
Yep.
At the end, then they get put into the drawing. So at least we get them to go to each of the houses, and
like a
hopefully
broker's open, but not
like,
a broker's open.
Yeah, same thing, but open. And I sent everybody out a link for a broker's open that's coming up here next Thursday too. So, but I mean, that would be some way, a way to get extra traffic. It's going to help, make your client happier because you're going to get more traffic to the house. You might get a couple of buyers out of it because, even though you're doing the right thing, the other agent might not follow up with them. Right. That's the single biggest complaint.
That's right, Lauren.
Your house will be the best. So, but single biggest complaint is agents don't follow up with their people. They don't, I mean, it dumbfounds me.
Yep.
Right?
I just got a referral from in one of our clients that we have a condo listed and it's active, and we're not getting good traction, but she knew that. I've showed her statistics. She knew that going in. She's not ready to touch it yet, but I just had a call today from another Chris. And I have an appointment on Thursday. He said, bring all the paperwork. So we're listing his.
And that's about setting the expectations. Right. We know a couple of years ago, houses were flying off the shelf. I mean, multiple offers and everything. We're not in that market anymore. So if you're telling your client you're going to have their house sold in 7 days, you're setting them up for failure. Right. If you explain to them, you show them the days on the market. Lauren sat with me on a listing appointment today. Right. What did we show her? We showed her the extended days on the market. Right. So now she'll be ready. I think we priced it where we'll get, some showings pretty fast, but I'm not going to set that expectation because if she thinks it's going to be 60 days and we sell it in 15, she's going to be ecstatic. Right. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
So, yeah, I mean, I like it. If you can get that going, that'd be cool.
And I did actually, the two people that I did speak to, I had mentioned, look, if we get enough folks, maybe we can do, a gift card together. Everybody puts in, whether it be 5, 10, whatever bucks, we get a decent, $10 max. I mean, we could even do 5. If I can get like 8 of them, we can all do that. But they have to stop by each house, like you said, because that's what we used to do at Brokers Opens. You'd have to stop at all of them and then get entered in. I think it's a great idea. I just don't know what else to do. And I don't have a problem asking someone. They think it's crazy or they don't want to work with me because I'm not with the same brokerage. Okay, well, keep on selling your own.
I mean,
place.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
Nope.
Right? It doesn't matter. We've done them for years with different brokerages. The bottom line is to sell your client's house. So that's what it's all about. You're not going to be standing on all the other ones. So just, get out there and work together. We're all in this together.
I'm getting Lauren out there with a karaoke machine or something.
I like it.
Girl, I'm warming up.
All right, cool. Anybody else have anything?
Mm-mm.
All right, guys. Well, does this help at all?
Absolutely.
All right. Find your happy place and it'll all fall into place. All right. So let's go get them. I'll send this out in the morning to everybody. I'm going to cut out of here because I'm still in the office. But if you need anything, let me know and we'll roll from there.
Chris, can you hang on a minute after everybody leaves?
I can.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Chris.
Bye,
Thank
guys.
you.
Bye, y'all.
Thanks.
Bye,
Bye.
everybody.